Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Nice to see you so bright and early on this Wednesday morning. We're going to give a few more moments. Yeah, we're going to give a few more moments for everyone else to join in the room since I just opened it. Feel free to grab a cup of coffee or whatever you might need to do, and we'll get started in just another moment.
Thank you.
Yeah, actually, in the meantime, while we're waiting for other folks to join, you can find the chat icon at the bottom of your Zoom window. It says chat on it, and if you click on it, feel free to type your name and introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know your name and what school you're from. I should introduce myself too. I just realized my name says BPS Technology. My name is Anita Lavakumar. I'm going to be the co-facilitator for today's session. Great, nice to meet you all. Timothy, grade 6, awesome. Conley School, nice representation from all across BPS. Look at that. Great.
Hey folks, good morning.
Good morning, Nick.
How's everybody doing this morning?
Good.
Good to see everyone. Good to see everyone. I don't know, I just want to introduce myself. My name's Nicholas Gonzalez. I'm from OIT. I'm a digital learning specialist, and I'm here with Anita Lavakumar. She's going to also in OIT as well. She's in BPS Tech. She'll be helping me with the chat today and answering any questions that might come up. If we can you just get a sound off of who's here and what school you're coming from, if you haven't already?
They've already been putting it in the chat. Yeah.
Okay, great. Awesome. So I'll give everyone a couple more minutes to jump on because sometimes it takes a little while. So yeah, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the chat.
Nick, you're outside this morning. Oh, you're muted.
I am, and it's beautiful.
Oh,
It's so
it
nice.
looks lovely.
I'm not doing the inside thing this morning.
Good.
Got the
Good for
beanie
you.
on. It's more of an excuse to wear my beanie because I'm so ashamed of my hair right now. So,
Okay.
well, that's what's happening on my end.
All right. Awesome.
So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with everybody.
All right.
Can I get a thumbs up from everybody if they see my screen?
Yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. Very, very cool. Great. All right, give it another minute, folks, and we'll get started.
Also, I'm just going to say that since once Nick shared his screen, it may have overtaken on your entire desktop. You can undo that by hitting the escape button on your keyboard or double clicking on Nick's screen. So that will make it a little bit smaller so you can still function around your desktop.
Sorry, excuse me, sorry about that. So we got a pretty big crowd here this morning. Let's see how many we got. Nice. Very cool. I think we have a little more than 30 people. 4, 6, 8, 12, 16, 20. Maybe about 23 actually. Sorry. I thought we had 30. I think we have about 25 to 26 registered. So yep.
It says 30 on my participants.
30, yeah. So maybe we'll just give another minute then for the rest of the folks to come on in, and then we'll start.
Sounds good.
All right, folks. So I have 8:03 on my watch right now. So let's get going because this is this is a working session, and we really want you to get the chance and the time that you need to sandbox. Again, this is a working session. This is something that um, you know we're teaching, but we really want you to get something out of it. Anita and I we're both teachers, and we both know what it's like to sit through PDs that really yeah, we really don't get anything out of, and so we've gone out of our way to make sure that our webinars and stuff that we give, that teachers are going to get something out of it. Because again, I've sat through a lot of PD that I've really just, yeah, and I'm sure you have too. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So this is using media to assess ELLs. Again, my name is Nick Gonzalez. I am a digital learning specialist at OIT, and I'm here with Alina Lavakumar. I believe we are recording right now.
We are, yeah.
Awesome, great. Just a little bit of background on myself. I am a former ESL teacher. I was in the classroom for about 7 years. I'm currently on faculty at Bunker Hill Community College as an ESL instructor as well. And so I've spent a good decade abroad teaching ESL as well. So I do have my backgrounds in ESL, so that's why I held this webinar. It's very close to my heart because I had, again, I was in the classroom as an ESL history teacher. And so I'm on the technology team now. And one of the reasons I joined the technology team was actually to cater to the ELLs that are out there, because I think technology is, can really provide the opportunities that that ELLs need to succeed in the classroom and in life as well. So I hold the technology bridge to ESL students very close to my heart, and again, it's a topic that I'm really passionate about. So again, this is using media to assess ELLs. Let's go through a little bit of housekeeping. This webinar is being recorded. Please fill out the attendance form link in the chat. It's going to be a feedback form, and you're going to get it more towards the end of the session. Anita will go ahead and post that a little bit later on in the session for you to fill out. And we hold our feedback form very we take our feedback form very seriously, and so please leave anything that you want on the feedback in terms of letting us know how we're doing and how we can do it better, because again, we like to give webinars that teachers can use. So yeah, feel free to please be honest in the feedback form. Really appreciate it. Let's see. To change your name, if you haven't already, you just scroll over. It seems like almost everyone's changed their name, so I won't have to go into that too much. And please make sure that you're signed into your BPS Gmail account already, if you can, in your browser. And signed out of all of your personal Gmail accounts, because we're going to go over some tools today that you can only get into using your BPS Gmail account. So please make sure that you're signed out of all of your personal Gmail accounts and signed out of your personal Gmail Chrome, and that you're signed into your BPS Chrome as well, your browser. Okay, folks? So our agenda today is why this webinar, the state of ELLs and online learning, simple recordings on devices, using media with Padlets, read and write for Google tools, and Powtoons, and our wrap up. And again, I'm not going to be diving deeply into any of these tools. I'm just going to give you a basic rundown on how we can use them with ELLs and how we can assess using them. And so I'm not going to go into any particular deep dive on any of these tools, but I'm going to give you a basic overview of how we can use them with ELLs and how to use them. So why this webinar? Okay, if you don't know by now, teaching online is very different from teaching face-to-face. Very different. And can I get an amen on that right now? Can I get a heck yeah from everyone? Yes, exactly.
Heck yeah.
So teaching face-to-face is very different from teaching online, and this is why we're here. And it's going to be a learning curve for ELLs. It really is, especially in terms of equity, and we know that, and I know that. And but it could also be the time for technology to really shine in terms of assessment and in terms of getting through the ELLs as well, especially with some of the tools that are available out there. And so again, you're using this webinar to teach you the tools that could be useful in your classroom in online learning. So the first thing I want you to do for the next 5 minutes, all right? I want you to go to this bit.ly, right? So Haruna's going to go ahead, Anita's going to go ahead and post it on the chat. Go to this bit.ly, and it's going to take you to this, what's called a Padlet, right? And I would like you to please read through this article which is English language learners being left behind as a result of COVID. And just leave a couple sentences reflection, and you can click anywhere on the Padlet to leave those sentences. Right? If you want to leave a comment too, that's fine. But take a good 5 to 7 minutes to really read through the article. And if you can't read through the whole thing, just feel free to skim. But leave us a couple of reflections if you can. I'm sorry, leave us a reflection if you can. Thank you. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you 5 minutes, and I'll put it, if you want to find a really easy timer and you have no other go-to or extension, now there's lots of extensions for it, and there's lots of ways to get around this, but a really easy way to find a timer online is to just go to YouTube. And go to 5 minute.
So some people are claiming, are saying that the link is not working.
Oh, it isn't.
Yeah, but it's okay. I think it might just be a matter of copying and pasting correctly. So if you can, yes, it's not an active link in the chat because Zoom has disabled that for certain versions. So if you're not on the most updated version, I'm going to tell you what you need to do. And those people on the updated version, they might be able to click on it. So what you need to do is either double click the link that's in the chat or highlight over it. And then you can copy and paste in a web browser. Alternately, you can double click on the link there in the chat, right click on your mouse, move to services, and then open URL. And you're absolutely right. Zoom sort of took away the hyperlink feature, which is the ability for us to click on links there.
Also,
We're totally sorry about that. That wasn't our decision.
Also, make sure you're not copying the link, the word link in the piece.
Correct. Yeah. Thank you. I'm just going to paste it here.
Just an FYI, I tried it without link on a different computer, and I have a message that says stop. There might be a problem with the requested link.
That's strange. Let me just try it one moment.
It's working fine for me.
Yeah, I just go straight to the Padlet myself. So maybe you can bypass that stop message. Does it say okay or something like that?
It just says it's been identified by Bitly as being potentially problematic. So I just was hesitant to use it, but there's nothing else that says to go on.
Okay, well, I'm going to paste a link to the Padlet directly in the chat in that case. Here you go.
Thank you, Anita, for that. Appreciate it.
So try doing that. Great, thank you. I know it worked for many of you, and some of you, we anticipate a little bit of technical difficulty because we're all on different versions of Zoom, and so that can happen. It's not a problem at all. Just let us know. You can type it in the chat so that Nick can continue, and I can try and help you through the chat in the meantime.
And folks, we're coming on to the minute 48 mark right now. And if you haven't stopped reading, that's fine. Feel free to skim, but leave a couple sentences if you can in the Padlet. So the hit the deck timer is going to come on in about 5 seconds. Just letting you know. Usually there's a really annoying hit the deck kind of sound alarm that goes off. I don't know why it's not going off today, but yeah, okay. So let's take a look at some of the things that people said. No, so what I'm going to do is actually, because there's so many people in the classroom, I want to use the raise your hand function in Zoom. So who wants to say a couple things about what they've read? So to raise your hand, you're just going to hover over yourself, and it's going to give you the opportunity to raise your hand. So, and Anita, can we unmute Antoinetta to let her talk for her?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hi. This article does seem like it's older, but it seems like it's saying that, ELLs and people of children of immigrant families are going to have a harder time.
Mhm.
And I think it has to do with the not like maybe understanding the technology. So I kind of just related it back to my situation where
Mhm.
I'm kind of talking more with the parents because I work with 3 and 4-year-olds, and
Right.
it definitely took a lot more time to
Mhm.
explain and continual explanation on how to do things and turn in work on the computer.
Right.
So there is, because I can't read what they're reading on the computer, it's,
Mhm.
it's very challenging for them. I feel
Right.
for these families.
Right. Yeah, it's so true. I mean, they bring the equity piece back to that as well. I mean, sometimes, yeah, the parents don't understand the technology that's involved with remote learning, online learning. Yeah, it's a tough one. Thank you for letting us know, Antoinetta, and giving us your thoughts. Okay, so who else has their hand raised?
I do, Esther.
Okay, Esther. Hi, Esther. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. Doing well. Let us know.
I read this in the newspaper a few weeks back, but
Mhm.
the inequities are true. I am a ELL SEI teacher, and I am a ELL person myself. And it is true. The systems that are in place, like we didn't have technology that we had access for kids to use every day in our classroom.
Right.
We had to borrow them, and then sometimes we had a cart that was ordered for us.
Mhm.
The principal didn't feel like she could release it to us because she didn't think we were worthy of having it.
Ooh.
That big inequities right there, and the language barrier. As I call parents trying to get them to work with this computer, it is so fearful and it's hard. Like I have like almost 100% now. I just have one student to get on with the whole class. She gets on one-on-one.
Mhm.
It's less fearful, it's more comfortable, but she won't get on with the whole class when we do Zoom.
Right.
So it's that fear factor and inequities in the
Right. So true. So true. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Sometimes you have the school inequity piece too, right? The school equity piece. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for showing. So we have time for one more hand. Anybody else want to talk? Anybody else have their hand up?
I'd like to share. I don't have my hand up because I
Sure.
can't find the raising the hand.
Okay, it's right over your picture.
This is Maria Bonilla, and
Hi, Maria.
in St. Louis. How are you?
Good. Good to see you.
I totally agree with our article, and I know I work primarily. I mean, I'm an ESL teacher, so my students are Ls. I know parents have struggled to learn the technology. They don't have access to it as well.
Right.
I think our school did a pretty good job of getting Chromebooks to all the families, but
Right.
the issue is, helping them access it and know what to do with it. And so it's involved tons and tons of hours
Right.
in terms of, connecting with them, trying to support them. And just this week, I finally have my last 2 students. I have one other child who has not gone on, but that's more because of her social emotional issues,
Okay.
concerns. But other than that, it's been tough. And
Yeah.
I disagree with the fact that I think that ESL teachers or teachers that work with ELs know what to do with the technology. I think they know what the best technology probably is and what the best strategies are, but
Right.
it's still not the same thing.
Yeah.
It's not equivalent to working one-on-one in person with.
No, it's not. It's not.
Completely
And
fine.
I totally agree with you on that. It's even worse for ELLs, and I'm going to get into that in a sec too, because there's so much that's lost with that visual communication and the physical communication piece.
And L's with disabilities.
And
especially
disabilities as well.
for
Exactly.
adults. Mhm.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Great, great. And you guys all bring up great topics, and this is great. Feel free to come back to this panel at any time to check out the what the other teacher said, and what we're going to say on it, and the article. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to our next piece, which is using, again, talking about the ways we can use media to alternatively assess ELLs, right? And so again, teachers aren't in class. We just went over this right now. And right now, Maria just brought up a really good point. Many students know the content but can't convey it through writing, which is really rough. And we know this as ESL teachers. A lot of students know, a lot of the content and are able to get a lot of the content and understand it, but they just can't communicate it. And they can't communicate it through writing a lot of the times, but they can communicate in other ways, through video, through audio, right? And on the other end of that, you have a lot of students that can't understand instructions without the nonverbal communication. So they can't see gestures, they can't see facial expressions, they can't see all the other communication that's needed in order to understand something. A lot of times they only get the text, right? And as a second language learner, I've learned, learning Spanish, learning Japanese, again, a page full of documentation of text to a new language learner is intimidating and daunting. And this is why one of the reasons why we wanted to bring this topic to light in our webinars is you don't always have to use text. You can use video, you can use a camera, you can use an audio recorder. So the use of media and sound to alternatively assess for content knowledge is a great way to get past that written text border, right? And so some of the ideas we have, though, is just using right off the bat, right? Basic video and audio and screencast recording. So using phone cameras and voice recorders to upload to either a Google Doc or to YouTube to send into to use via Google Classroom is a great way to alternatively assess. You can use simple recording tools that are already on your Chromebook. So on a Mac, it's Photo Booth. If you want to just take a quick picture or a quick video, it's on your Mac and it's called Photo Booth. And I'll go to it right now. And it's in your applications. Right. This is one way to get to it. This is the easiest way to get to it, but it's already installed on your Mac and it's called Photo Booth. Right. And here you have the different pictures from different classes that I've taught, right? But I can use film, I can use a camera, and I can do funny things to it with it as well. But it's a quick and easy way just to get some video smacked onto your desktop. And all you have to do is film something. So I'll film something really quickly. Hello, how are you doing today? Good morning. Welcome to my webinar. Pause. All right, so filling out, and all you have to do, it's right here, all the way to the right, and you just drag it to your desktop, and it'll be there. And it stays there permanently too as well. So sorry, excuse us. So if I want, I could just drag this wherever I want. I can put it in my desktop. And it's there, and I can access it from my desktop whenever I'd like. All right. You can also use, for Chromebook, for students on their end, they would use the record video in their app section. So there's a camera and there's a video application and a photo application in Chromebooks for students. All they have to do is open up their apps launcher, and there's a record video function there for them as well. You can also do simple screencasts using QuickTime on your Mac. So if you want to use a screencast to record your screen, not yourself, not your actual face, but what's on the screen, all you would do is go to QuickTime, and I'll show you how to get there really quickly. Well, I'll just go to my Spotlight search. Right, it pulls up. Right, it's going to come here, and it's already on. Right, it says QuickTime Player, and to do a screen recording with voice, all I would do is press screen recording, and it automatically saves to your Mac. And you can find it anywhere. And if you want to upload it to any to your Google Drive or your Google Classroom, this is all you have to do is find it on your hard drive and do it that way. But this is a simple, easy way to do a screen recording. You don't have to go into any app, or you don't have to go into internet to do. However, if you do have the internet and you do have Chrome, we also recommend using Screencastify, which is great. Screencastify lets you capture data. You need the internet to do it. Lets you capture video and download it. Upload it straight to your Google Drive. It's a great tool. It's a great extension, and the link to get it is actually in the slide deck that will be shared with you a little bit later, and will be shared to you through an email. But it's a great tool as well to use Screencastify. A little bit different because you need the internet to use it. With your QuickTime on your Mac, you don't.
Just a quick plug there, Nick.
Sure.
This afternoon at 2 o'clock, there is a webinar on screencasting.
Right, yeah. So we have lights, camera, and screencast, and it's later on this afternoon. It's a great webinar too. If you're interested in learning how to do screen recordings and how to manipulate them and whatnot, that's always there, and an option to you. So quick things to do with your camera, some really interesting ways to do it. These are offline activities that they can use, and I actually teach this on a different webinar called Unplugged, or using your computer or your camera or your cameras to do stuff offline, so you don't have to be in front of a screen. But it's also very useful for ELL. So play a board game or card game with family members, then design a rebranded cover for the game. Right? Take a picture of it. I'll throw off a couple other ones, right? The perfect playlist. Compile a playlist of your current mood. Your playlist must have a minimum of 10 songs. Give your playlist a name. Read an article in a newspaper or a chapter in a book and draw a comic strip of it. Create a themed scavenger hunt. Choose your favorite sport, movie, book, or subject in school, and use that inspiration to create a scavenger hunt with clever clues. Once you've created your scavenger hunt, invite someone in your family to try and figure out your clever clues. So again, all stuff that you can do offline, but all stuff that you can use a camera and audio for, that can be recorded and upload for you to assess. And I'm not going to go through every single one here, because obviously it's going to be here for you in the slide deck, and if you and you can go into a little bit more on your end. But I'm going to stop right here if we have any questions. Anita, how are we doing in the questions? Does anybody want to know more about anything? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're doing great.
Okay.
There was a question around if there are time limits on the recordings.
For photo booth and for
right, I think it was just a general question on the various apps that you were showing.
Sure. So all the ones that are native to your computer, like QuickTime and photo booth, there's no limit. You can record as long as you want. For Screencastify, I believe there's a 5-minute limit, which you need the internet to use, obviously. And then for the camera option or the video option on Chromebooks, there is no limit either.
Mm-hmm. Thank
So
you.
as long as you're using your Google Drive with everything, you don't have to worry about time limits. That's a great thing about using Google. Our Google Drives, the BPS Google Drive, is that because there's no limit to storage.
Awesome. And I do want to share, there was a question in the chat about sharing the slide deck. We will be sharing the slide deck with you after the session is over. For now, it's important to follow along with Nick's screen. There's a question, Nick, in the chat on, sure, will we be showing people how to embed the video into Google Slides during this webinar?
No, we won't, unfortunately, because that's a tool on its own. But we do have that's a process on its own, and that's not something I'm really covering in here. But if you want to come during office hours, I'd be happy to help you. And then we also have differentiating with slides as one of our webinars, and also I believe that's covered in our G Suite Basics webinar as well.
Thanks, Nick.
Sure. So I'm going to go on to our next slide, which we're going to talk about Padlets, because we just used a Padlet, so why not talk about Padlet, right? So Padlet's a really great and easy tool. We just used it right now when we're discussing the article. I believe it is free, and the numbers of how many Padlets you can have changed. So I believe right now it's 3 free Padlets that you get. The great thing about it is you can have as many you can have many entries as you'd like on Padlet, so it could be up to 500 or 600 I mean, I know there's a lot, but it's a really useful tool. And so what I'd like you to do is actually go back. I'm going to show you how to do it, but after I'm done showing you how to do it, I'd like you to go back and leave a video assessment of the article. So just basically talk out what you wrote. And I'll show you how to do it right now. And so I'm going to go back to my Padlet. All right. I'm going to find a free space. Right. I'm going to go click on the 3 dots right next to the camera, and I'm going to go to film. And I'm going to record myself. Folks, can you please go back to the Padlet that we started on and leave a video reflection of the article that you just read? Just a couple sentences, maybe 10 to 15 seconds. Okay, thank you so much, appreciate it. I'm gonna press pause. I'm gonna play back and save. Make sure that I like it. Right, so if I wanna play back, I'm sure I'll like it, don't worry about it. But if you wanna play it back before you save, that's fine. I'm gonna save it. And there I am, right? Thank you. Please follow these video directions. So folks, I want you to utilize the video feature. Now, if you don't want to be on camera, that's fine. You can just hold a piece of paper up in front of your face if you want. If you don't want anyone to see your face, that's fine. But I'd like you to try the video option on Padlet if you can. Thank you. It doesn't have to be 30 seconds long, but just leave a video on it. Nice. And folks, I'm going to give you about 2 more minutes to do this, and then we're going to move on. Nice, lots of people recording. Great. Nice. Love the writing piece. That's great. Really cool. It's a great idea. Folks, I'm going to give you another minute, and then I'm going to move on.
Nick, a couple of people cannot see the video icon. Can you just go through the steps
Sure.
one more time
Uh-huh.
since you have the screen up? Thanks.
Sure, no problem. So you're going to click anywhere on the free part of the Padlet. You're going to go to these three dots on the right and go down to film, I'm sorry.
Please repeat again, please.
Sure. Okay. Click anywhere on free on the Padlet. Click a space. Go over here to these three dots and click on film. And that's how you would get to it. All right, folks, so I'm going to move on. But just before we move on, I'm going to let you know that you can, the great thing about Padlet is that you can use all sorts of media. You can use pictures. You can also use just your voice if you want to use your voice. You can record your screen here too, also, if you want to. You can draw. So there are a lot of different things you can use with Padlet that don't necessarily mean having to write or read anything, right? You can again alternatively assess using the media that's available on the Padlet. So yeah, this is again a great tool. Now there's also Flipgrid. I don't know if anyone else has heard of this, but Flipgrid is also a great tool to use basically just for filming purposes, for video purposes, but it's a great tool. You can also use a lot of text as well and use comments. Flipgrid's great if you're just going to use video, there's a actual training just dedicated just to that we have. I'm pretty sure it's going on next week. I'm not quite sure yet, but we do offer a Flipgrid training session. I like Padlet as well. Padlet offers a few more things to do. That's why I like it so much. In Flipgrid, there's a lot more in terms of who you want to see it and when you want them to see it as well. So the options are a little bit better in terms of time and I guess a one-on-one assessment with video. Whereas Padlet, it's pretty much open to everybody who wants to see it, who's on the Padlet. So yeah, a little bit different, but again, Flipgrid's a great tool as well to use. So folks, I'm going to go on the next part I'm going to go on to is Read and Write for Google Tools, right? And if you're not familiar with Read and Write, it's a great extension that needs to be used over the Chrome extension, right? And if you have a BPS Gmail account, you have it for free. And I'm not going to go into how to get it on your because it's involved. You just have to press accept for a lot of things. But if you need to get it, it's actually going to be in our slide deck, and you would get it through the web store on Chrome. It's called the Chrome Web Store, and that's how you would actually upload it to your browser. Now it's important to understand that your Read and Write for Google is a browser extension, which means it goes with you everywhere on the web. So no matter where I am on the web, if I'm in my email account or if I'm on another website, for example, here, I'm going to go back over to assessing, you're always going to see Google Read Write because it follows you everywhere you go on the web. That's why it's called an extension, right? Now, let me show you. Now, Google Read and Write is very extensive. There's a lot of options available, but I want to focus on the three that focus on media. And so I'm going to go to my practice Google Doc that I have. And I'm going to show you some of the things that you can use with Google Read Write to help you to help with ELLs. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on, and you'll see it come on right now. Sometimes it's a little slow. Let's give it 1 second. There we go. Okay, and the first thing I want to show you was the text-to-speech tool. So here I go. I have some text in front of me that maybe I don't understand that well because it's just written down and I have to read it. So if I want to have it read to me, I would just highlight what I want to be read. All right, come up here to my play text-to-speech feature, and it will play for me.
As the nation shifts to online learning during the novel coronavirus outbreak, language and access barriers may shut many of the nation's nearly English learner students out of the learning process.
Okay, so again, that's just highlighting and pressing play. Okay. One of the other features I wanted to take a look at was the actual opposite, the speech to text, right? And so I would get that by going here to this button, which is it's called Talk and Type. And I would press it, and I would press record. It's recording right now, actually. So here I can just say the words, and it will type it out for me. So for those students who are having issues typing or don't know how to type as well as others or have issues with writing text, this is a great way for them to get started, at least getting their thoughts down on paper and then going back and trying to change whatever needs to be changed in order to communicate whatever they want to communicate. So it's a great feature on Google Read Write to use for ELLs. So again, that's the Talk and Type feature. And the last section I want to get is a dictation piece, or which is called basically practice reading aloud. And what I'm going to do is, so if I want a student to try reading out something and I want to get a recording of them reading it out so I can assess them, this is a great way to do it. So I would highlight what I want them to read. Go to the practice reading aloud section. It's going to take me to another tab. It's going to have all of the things that I want, all the words that I want my students to read. Right? And I'm going to go ahead and record myself now. And I press it, and I would press record. It's so pretty right now, actually. So I'm here, I can just say the words and it will type it out for me. For those students who are having issues typing or don't know how to type as well as other issues with writing text, this is a great way for them to get started. Obviously, this is just a lot of gobbledygook, right? But again, it's recording what I'm saying, right? I press stop, and then I press send. And it takes a couple seconds for it to convert. Yeah, it's going to ask me to verify who I am, right? And so I'm choosing to send it to myself, but it actually gives me the choice to enter in the student's an email address for another teacher. I have to press accept. And it'll give me all the teachers who are in BPS, all right? And you would type in the email of the teacher. And this is how, and it would go directly to them. And you basically get the recording of them reading out the words that you'd like them to read, with the read aloud that you assigned to them. So that's how to use the read aloud function in Google Read Write. So those are the three that I found most helpful for students. And I'm going to go and get out of this. I'm going to go ahead and close this out as well. So yeah.
One question is, so you said that's an add-on?
No, this is an extension. It's an extension, and you have to get it going to the Chrome store. It should already be there if you have a BPS account. It goes through your Chrome browser. It doesn't go through email. It kind of goes through. It's an extension through your browser. All righty? Okay, folks. So that's Google Read and Write. And I'm going to give you some time to play with this towards the end, but I just want to get through our last section, which are using Powtoons. Powtoons are really fun. It's an animation maker, right? And it's a little bit more for the advanced user. I'm not going to show you how to. I'm not going to show you the tutorial video on how to do it, but I left it in the slide deck for those of us who want to learn how to use it. But if you know how to make a slide deck on Google, or know how to make a slide deck on using PowerPoint, you can make a Powtoon. It's really, really easy. I'm going to go to it right now and show you the Powtoon that I set up for you folks. I'm going to start from here. I'm going to move you out of the way. One sec, folks. Sorry. Okay, so folks, it took me about 3 minutes to make this Powtoon right here. And it's really simple, really easy. And you set up a free account. It's free. And it's basically, it's a set of animations that you can use to type out whatever you want to type out. You don't have to use recordings or anything like that. But the great thing about it is you can choose the different animations that you want to use. So for example, this one's saying hi, so the appropriate type of language associated with greeting someone is necessary to use. So this is something that you can really use with your students and point out a lot of times. And so it doesn't require any recording of anybody per se. There's a lot of animation to choose from. Again, it's really simple to use, and this is what the dashboard looks like. Sorry, bring this down a little bit. And again, it's free. It's really easy to use. Again, if you know how to make a Google slide deck or a PowerPoint presentation, you can make a Powtoon.
Awesome. Nick, is it accessible in Clever?
It isn't. It isn't yet. You're going to have to go through the outside. But if enough people want it and if enough people like it, we can get it in there. And,
Awesome.
and also, too, if you want to put it in your own teacher dashboard in Clever, you're allowed to do that as well.
Great. And then do you know if it also offers different skin tones?
Yes, it does.
Great.
Yeah, it does. And different facial features, cultural facial features as well.
Thank you. This is awesome. You gave us a lot of great resources. This is very cool.
I'm glad you like it, Antonetta. Awesome. Great to have you here, by the way. Okay, so folks, what I want you to do now is play. Okay, for the next 5 to 10 minutes. India and I are going to be here to answer any questions. We want you to go ahead and use this time to access any of the things that we were talking about, to play around with it, to get your feet dirty. If you want to sign up for Powtoon, please, by all means, you're welcome to do that. We're going to just let it go for the next 5 to 10 minutes to let you go off on your own and play around with some of this stuff. How's that sound? Can I get a thumbs up from everybody? Awesome. Great. All right, folks. So feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions, and we're here to answer, or leave it in the chat, or raise your hand.
Yeah, and just a note, just about 1 or 2 minutes before the session ends, I'll be pasting the feedback form in the chat.
I just want to get that extension for the read and write. So how do I go about and do that?
So to get to read and write, you're going to have to go to your Chrome store.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to go to chrome.google.com, right, and look for read and write. This is what it's going to look like, and it's going to say search the store, and you're going to go for read and write for Google. And it's going to ask you to accept all these policies and make sure that you're going through your Boston Public Schools account.
Okay. So Chrome.google.
Yes, good morning. I
Hi.
have a question. When
Sure.
I try to go to Powtown, and I
Uh-huh.
try to access the template. So
Uh-huh.
first and foremost, the first page asks me if I'm a member, if I'm a service or development marketing. It's asking me those kind of questions. There's no education. So
There should be education in there.
I know, but I don't see it. That's
Keep scrolling to your right, because you have to look for it. If you keep scrolling to your right, it's going to say education or training.
okay, because it tells me that I only have 4 days with the application free.
And that's only 4 days of pro that you get to use. Once you don't, after those 3 days, it's just going to turn to a free account.
Okay, got it. I just found it.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
No problem.
So another question. So basically,
Sure.
the features that we can only access for free are like the book reports. If we want to do class goals, that's part of the pro.
I'm sorry, for which one? Is this for Powtoon again?
Yes, and when I go to choose the template, like
Mhm.
for instance, it says class goals, book report. For class goals, it says pro. It comes out with a little icon that it has to be pro. But
Yeah.
the book report has nothing. So
Yeah,
one
so
of
you can
my
use book
questions-
report.
Okay, so I can only use the ones that have no pro icon.
Exactly, yeah. There's a free account. But the thing is, you don't have to abide by those. Once you start to know how to play with it, you don't necessarily have to make it a book report. I mean, you can change the title of it. You can add or delete slides. You can add or delete people, or you can add or delete. Once you individualize it, once you start to change it, you can change all the text within it. So it doesn't necessarily have to be for a book report. But if you like the flow of the template, and you like the way that the animations that are used, again, you can change the animation if you want. But if you don't like the animations that are used, you can actually delete them out. And so you don't necessarily have to abide by everything it says. It just gives you a place to start it from.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Chelsea, I like your profile picture.
Thanks. You can't see it, but off to the side, my lizard is in it as well.
Nice.
That was a picture I used for our Horace Mann School staff. We're thinking of you. We miss you. School is closed
Aw.
video.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, my students are gonna lose it when they see my lizard in
Your
it.
lizard? What type of
And
lizard do you have?
sure did. What was that?
What type of lizard do you have?
A leopard gecko?
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you lose it often?
No.
Okay.
I
Just thinking because it's a gecko. Maybe do
Yeah,
they change
he's-
colors? No, they don't. Chameleons do,
No,
sorry.
no. He's pretty happy to just like stick to people.
Oh, nice.
Like I just stick him to me while I walk around and work on the laptop and
Okay.
cook dinner, and he's like, "Ah, yes."
Very cool.
He
Nick,
loves
we
it.
have sorry, excuse
Yeah.
me. Nick, we have a question in the chat. How do you customize the person in Powtoons?
So if you click on, I'll go to it. If you click on the actual person, right, and you go to swap, right, it lets you choose from different people. Sometimes it's a little slow, but you'll see characters populating throughout, and you can actually change their emotions too.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome. So if I want to change it to change that, it's very COVID theme right now, so a lot of the COVID characters that they're offering are free right now. So to get the full library of all the characters, though, you do have to upgrade to a pro account, but you really don't need them. There's a lot to choose from.
Isn't it, is the pro free? Is it a free trial? I thought
The pro is a free trial for 4 days. There are
Oh.
some though, yeah, and there's some you can't access on the trial either, And
Okay.
so, but again, once those 4 days are up, it turns off, and so you'll just get access to stuff that's free.
yeah, I'm actually playing around with it, and you can create your own background. You can
Yeah.
put your own emoji in there. It's
Yeah,
really
yeah, it's actually really fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the kids love it too.
yeah.
So just so that people direct their attention to the chat whenever you're ready for it, I've already put the attendance and feedback form into the chat. You can feel free to fill it out, and also we'll be sending you an email, and Nick will talk about that, but the link to that form will be in that email as well.
And so there's a question from Aja. So when you search for Padlet, Clever does not come up. It's not in Clever yet. You have to go to www.padlet.com. And for Kimberly, can kids get a Powtoons account? Yes, they can. So folks, I'm going to go ahead and post the attendance form again. If you haven't signed it already, please do so. Again, we take this feedback into consideration, and again, it's if you want to get hours for your MOU, this is how you would go about getting them as well.
I can't find the class ELL. I don't know. Maybe I'm calling it something wrong.
It's sometimes it might be in there as using video to assess ELLs.
Yes, I see it. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry about
Sorry.
that. Thank you, Tonya. I appreciate it. Have a good meeting.
Nick, how do you where did you post the attendance?
It's in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just reposted
Yeah.
the link in there.
Appreciate it.
Mhm.
Also, would you guys be sharing the video just in case I need to rewatch it?
Sure. Yeah, well, that's going to be coming to you in email as well. Give us about a day to get it all up and give us about a date for us to upload it, and you'll have it available. We'll get it to you in an email.
So we have another webinar that needs this Zoom room. We're going to have to end it now. Nick, would you mind just wrapping it up for all of us, and then we can.
Sure. Folks, it was great having you. Have a great day today, and a great day with your kids. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. And yeah, it was great having you folks on today, and great luck with your kids, and stay safe and sanitized.
Thank you.
Bye, folks. Have a good one.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, folks.